So we definitely said that we were only going to be away for 2 weeks, and it's fully been a
Yeah,
month.
but we'll just let people know that we don't give a shit about what we say. So.
Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Game Breakdown, the podcast where we do stuff with games. Right, nice to see you all. We're back. It's a new year. It is 2021, and we are finally back.
Happy
We
New
said we were
Year.
going to be gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, we lied.
We did. We said 2 weeks, but then we needed more time.
It became
To
3,
be us.
and then it almost became 4. But here we are.
I think, yeah. Has it actually been 4 or has it just nearly become 4?
I don't know. I actually forgot
Yeah, I
when we
don't
last
know.
released an episode, which is really bad.
Many
It's really
moons ago.
bad. But we came at a good time because there's been a big trailer. I say a big trailer. It weren't really a big trailer, was it? It was like a, I don't know, what was it?
We've been dragged out of retirement by a showcase.
Yeah, a showcase that was like 2 minutes long and didn't really satisfy anyone. I don't think.
It didn't satisfy anyone. We've actually got a lot to talk about this episode because a lot has happened. There was a showcase. Basically New Year now. So I got a Switch,
Yeah, you did. You did. After
which I said I would never do.
I think about 3 episodes of you like, it's just not for me.
It's just,
And then
it's
you were
just
like,
not for me.
so I bought a Switch for like £6.
I was like, I've decided it's for me.
Yeah,
And I
decided
got
it's to me.
So basically I got some vouchers for people for Christmas and before Christmas, and I added them all together, and I ended up paying £6. Was it £6.49 or something for a Switch and Mario Kart? So I thought, sod it, let's just like see what the hype is about and get it. And I have like a lot of opinions with it, and so far though I will say I've played it more than I've played my PS5.
Yeah, I think when I first got my Switch, I was obsessed with it. And like, I still am, but like I said, it comes in waves where I'll spend like loads of time on it and then, maybe not so much time. What have you been playing on it? Like, what's been your game of choice so far?
Right, here we go. Okay, so the game I got with it was Mario Kart. Spent a lot of time on Mario Kart, but then you can't really go wrong with Mario Kart, can you? Like, Mario Kart is a staple, it's a classic, everyone loves Mario Kart. But I will say this one is like a really good version of
really
Mario
fun.
Kart. Like,
yeah. Even as a
it's
solo
really
player,
fun.
It's really fun.
Definitely, I think the levels are really cool. I like the idea of like the fact that you're driving on one dimension, if you like, and then you can jump and like before you know it, you're driving on the ceiling or
Yeah.
driving on the wall. Like, I like that whole element. I think that's really cool. I will say the very first time I played it, it was a bit trippy because suddenly I can't remember what course it was, but I was playing this one where suddenly I was upside down and then fucking going sideways, and I couldn't cope, and it was on my telly, and I've just bought a new TV as well, and it's really bright and big, and it was just a lot. It was really confusing.
It's good.
It was
though.
very
It is really
intense.
fun. Like, it's like crack for kids. It's one of those things, and it's like really colourful. Yeah, it's a good game.
Definitely. Proper Nintendo, colourful. I love the fact that you can like play as loads of different Nintendo characters and stuff. I've really, really enjoyed it. Like playing as Zelda and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. But yeah, love Mario Kart. Very, very cool. The other thing I've been playing a lot is what else have I been playing? Okay, so I bought the Mario 3D All Stars 2 pack
Interesting.
of games because, and I'll tell you for why. Because like, when I had a GameCube, it was probably the only Nintendo home console I ever had. Like, I never had an N64 or what have you. And one of the only games I had on there, as you might remember, is Super Mario Sunshine. Now, I loved Super Mario Sunshine so much. I thought it was so like quirky and
Really
unique
good
with the whole like
game,
water jetpack. Really, really cool game. So I saw that it had Sunshine in there, and I was like, oh my god, I want to play Sunshine. Sick. Been playing it a lot because I really want to get further than I ever got as a child. However, it plays really strangely, and they remapped the buttons. I know the controls are different because it's literally a different console with a different style of controller, but the buttons are mapped differently. It's still quite glitchy. They never fixed a lot of the bugs.
That's one of the main issues. People were not happy about it. Like, firstly, it's a limited release, which no one really understands why. Like, why you buy?
Why?
Like, what's the point?
One of your most famous games.
Let's just not really give it to anyone. And
Let's just not give it to anyone.
Okay. And obviously they didn't really bring anything to it. I think it's like a straight up pull, but it's not even a good pull because a lot of people were saying that even just playing it on like emulators, was just so much
It
better.
plays so much better.
Yeah, and they didn't even try to make it look slightly better, you know? So it was a bit of a cheap win, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Because I really wanted it, because I
100%.
was a big fan of Mario 64. Like, I used to play that loads at my nan's, as you know, like, my nan had, like, Nintendo 64 and all that.
Your nan was a gamer.
And, yeah, and I was just like, when I heard the review of it, I just thought, I don't think I want to, like, tarnish the memory of it. I know that sounds kind of weird, but sometimes, like, if you really enjoy a game, but then you know it's really bad when it's been, well, maybe not really bad, but you know when it's kind of just a bit like everyone's got a negative opinion of it. It's like, do I want to play it again and realise that actually this isn't really that good and I've just fucked up my love for it? I don't know. So, but yeah.
It's like, it's still, there was, okay, I'm enjoying it and I'm getting used to it and I think it's really fun and I'm like living my old life. But there was a point while I was playing it, there was a certain level I couldn't do. And I actually was saying out loud, this game is borderline unplayable. Like, what the fuck? Because there are times when, like, it's silly glitches. It's like, Mario will fall through the environment, but like literally walking along, almost like a cyberpunk style glitch, just fall through the floor. Not even some like really unique jump and really obscure corner of the room.
Yeah.
He'll just fall through the floor without any hesitation. There's also stuff like button registration. So sometimes I will jump and you press A and Mario just does not jump. He's just not feeling it. So he's like, no, fuck it, and just goes. And there were so many times where I was pressing it and I was like, maybe it's me, maybe my timing's off, I haven't played this game in years. But no, there was bits where like I pressed it and then he still took 2 more steps and then walked off the edge and I was like, what the fuck? And it was really getting to the point where I was getting super stressed about it and I was like, fuck this game, and I put it down for the rest of the day. And the next day I was like, okay, we'll give it one more go, and like I managed to do it. But it was so bizarre. It was like the longer I played, like if I played a long stint of it for like an hour or so, the more I was playing it, the more problems I would find. And it was very, very strange, falling through the scenery, buttons not registering, and things like really lazy porting. So at the very beginning of the game, when you put on Flood, your Flood pack, he speaks to you in his little weird voice, and he always, you know, in typical Nintendo fashion, gives you a proper tutorial of like, press the R button to do, like, gives you all that. Instead of just, I don't know, making it more obvious, I don't know, like changing the script or changing the captions at the bottom, they literally just cut the audio file. So rather than him saying press the RZ button, he goes press the button.
Oh really?
And like it's so fudgy. It's like
yeah, no, I don't know.
It's just really lazy.
I mean,
it's really lazy.
Eventually, there's going to be the Zelda anniversary and things like that. So I'm hoping they do something a little bit better. Like, I'm desperate for Ocarina of Time to be on the Switch. Played it on the 64. Played it on the 3DS. It was a really nice port on the 3DS, but I really want it for the Switch. But yeah, we'll see.
Is Majora's Mask on the Switch?
No, it's 3DS.
That's one I'd like to see. I'd love to see Majora's Mask.
And I really want to play Majora's Mask. I know.
Majora's Mask is a good one. That was like probably the first proper Zelda that I played like as a grown-up child, shall we say.
A grown-up child.
A grown-up child. A fully grown toddler. Like, you know, that's what I was enjoying.
There's just, those games have just got something about them. I don't know. I wouldn't even say a Zelda game really is anything that's particularly like extraordinary. Like, I don't think there's anything that I can say about Ocarina of Time. Like, game design wise, I don't think it was fantastic, but I don't know what it's about it. Like, I think everyone just appreciates it for what it is. I don't know, but I hope
definitely. But I think that's. I hope so. I think it's like a Nintendo staple, isn't it? Though, like most Nintendo games are not like show-stopping. They're very basic ideas. They're just done really well.
They just
like Mario's not a typical, like, it's not a showstopper, is it? You jump and that's
they're basic
jump.
platformers, aren't they? But they're
yeah,
they're friendly, they're charming, and I think that's what keeps people coming back, because it makes you feel safe when you play them and like cozy and you know. I don't know about you, but like I always want to just get into bed in my bed with my Switch and just like relax and play some happy games. So I'm assuming that's
not that kind of
what
podcast.
It is. But you're happy with your purchase.
I am very happy with my purchase.
Good.
I mean, so far I am. I've got that. I've got Mario Kart. I've got the 3D All Stars pack, and I haven't played the Super Mario Galaxy or the other one yet. Mario 64. As much. I'm playing Sunshine first. I've become the friend that has Smash because I bought Smash.
You've become a friend with Smash. You are now my friend with Smash.
I'm your friend with Smash. Now I don't know anyone with Smash, but now I know. But now you know me that has Smash.
Maybe I need to buy Smash and be another friend.
I think you should. I think you would really enjoy it.
I don't know, maybe. Do you know, I've been playing my Switch mostly for indie games at the moment. I'm big indie fanning right now.
You love an indie game though, don't you?
I really appreciate an indie game.
See, you're the kind of person that watches like a B movie on sci-fi rather than like goes to cinema.
Yeah.
Like, you love a good like independent film.
I'm just out there.
Anything underground, you want to be different. You're that girl. You're the different girl.
No, I'm just really enjoying that. It's a really great console for stuff like that. I think it's really good for like your like retro games. I just think there's something really nice about playing them on handheld. Same with indie games and stuff. Like, it's just a really good console for it. I don't know. I just feel like it makes more sense to play those kind of games on the Switch than on like an actual home console. Like, well, not home console, but you know.
I mean, I like the fact they've put a lot of the SNES and the NES games, I mean, for free, pretty much. Like, I don't remember paying for any of them. I don't know if you have to have the Nintendo subscription or not. I can't remember because I just became a member straight away and then got it. So I wasn't sure if there was like an extra, you know,
might have already
hidden purchase.
Yeah.
But I just literally pressed download and I was like, oh, I didn't pay for that. But I'm currently playing, you know, loads of SNES games, which is really cool. So I was down with that.
I think there's some for free, and then there's others that you have to be online for. But maybe you've got maybe you've got a code with it, and it's doing that. But like, at least you get a chance to play them. They don't update the emulation on it as much as I want them to. I think they're really slow with that at the moment. Yeah,
there's still a lot missing. There's loads of them missing, but there's still like a good chunk on there. And when you think about the fact you probably don't have to pay for it,
and
that's
all
really
the Resi
cool.
games are on there, apart from 7.
Yes, they are. I wonder if they would ever. I mean, obviously, we'll get to it in just a moment. But like, RE8 is coming out, and with RE8, they're releasing like almost like like Spider-Man did. They're releasing 7 and 8 together, so they're releasing like a multi-pack version. So I wonder if 7 will come to the Switch. I mean, I don't know.
It's
quite a graphically intensive game, though, isn't it?
It's streamable currently in Japan. You're able to stream Resi 7 on your Switch because their infrastructure is just better. I think they're hoping to get Resi. Yeah, I think they're hoping to get Resi to the Switch to stream because you can play Hitman 3 is available now as a cloud game. The demo for it, and it was. Why do I always forget the name of it? I cannot remember, but like it's a good game that people really enjoy. But I've not played it. Well, I've played
that really good game.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's actually called. But yeah, it should come eventually. It's in the works, but it won't be like an actual port, you know.
I was gonna say because Resi 7 especially is quite a graphically intensive game, isn't it? It was quite, you know, it was hailed as like a visual kind of masterpiece when it was released. So I wonder if the Switch can go. Well, that was actually something else I was going to say about the Switch, and I feel like that. This was when I was playing Sunshine, and I don't know if it was because it was an old game that was ported to the Switch, but there were times when I found that the console couldn't keep up with the game, and like there was bits where I'd jump as Mario and he'd stutter in the air, or like he'd stop for a second. I was like, whoa, is this the ROM or is this the console not being able to keep up? Because like it never happened when I was playing Let's Go Pikachu. Oh, I have Let's Go Pikachu. That's a 10 out of 10. That is.
That's what you wanted it for originally, wasn't it?
That was what I wanted it for originally, because like Pokemon is like one of my all-time faves. I don't really go beyond Generation 2. Don't really know about these like new fandangled ones, but like they own space and time and shit. I'm more of like the OGs, but still. But yeah, I found there was a lot of times where the Switch would sometimes stutter and struggle to keep up with what was actually happening, and I thought, okay, that's a bit unusual.
I think it depends on the game. When I first got Witcher, that was a struggle for the Switch. Like it was just laggy, you know, like there was no major issues. It just felt a bit slow, like with the menu and things like that. And I think there's been a few bugs with it. But yeah, it just depends on the game. But 9 times out of 10, most games are all right, to be fair. Like I've not had any major issues. And there's a lot of games like that I would, like I said, when I first got the Switch, like every game that came out, I wanted it on the Switch rather than the console. And I didn't care that the graphics were like scaled down. I just wanted that freedom of playing it on the go. So yeah,
I do appreciate that though, that you can play things on the go, and but I do enjoy the fact that you can swap between the TV and on the go.
And it's fluid. So it's so fluid as well. It's just like lift up, put back down, and it'll just carry you. It doesn't have to load. It just straight away flicks up, which is really clever.
Yeah, I think they've done that so well. There is one thing I had a bit of complaint, and this is more of a hardware complaint, is I don't know what it's called. It's not the Pro Controller. You know where you slide the two thingies, the two
Joy-Cons.
controllers out the side, the Joy-Cons, that's the word, and then you slot it into the little Joy-Con holder, which basically acts like a controller. I found when using that, it happened during Sunshine a couple of times, but mainly during Mario Kart, during racing, the controller would disconnect and have to reconnect. And it happened like quite a lot. And I wondered if it was me, if it was like the way I was sitting and I was like knocking the control myself, or if it was like I was getting too into it and pushing too hard and the Joy-Con was slipping. But there was like numerous times I was playing online with a few friends and it literally just cut out halfway through. And I was like, oh shit. And I had to then like sync it up. And then I was like fifth in the race. And I was like, oh, I was first a minute ago. It's like it happened. If it happened once or twice, literally, I was like, oh, and everyone was like, oh, you're just blaming the control. You're just shit. I was like, I'm not. I was like, it's the control. Me and Sally were playing it for a very long time, and she was like, oh, you keep throwing these excuses out. I was like, do you know what? Fuck you. But yeah, literally. But it kept disconnecting. So I don't know if you've ever had like experienced that or anything.
No,
it dropping off.
Like, I mean,
do you often play on the TV though?
Not as much, to be honest. If anything, I say recently, like it was a few months ago that I tried it, and I was playing Zelda on the TV, and I used the control because obviously, like it would be weird for me to sit there without it like attached to something, and holding it separate. That was just odd, but also really comfy and quite nice. But yeah, just odd. And I didn't have any issues. The only issues I had was kind of the, you know, when like you move it and I can't remember what it's called, but like it'll aim as you move it around and stuff. That was a bit off. But like apart from that, I didn't have any like disconnection issues. Strange. You always have these weird issues. You had it with Last of Us.
I don't even know what's going on.
You're
like,
just cursed.
Do I break things? I'm cursed. Maybe I'm just like too intense. I did think for a minute, is it because I'm like, you know, when like you're playing Mario Kart and you're like, I'm gonna fucking win, and you're like, you're standing on the couch and like all that. Yeah. I wondered if it was me being like too intense and really I should be like, calm down.
Maybe you were just gripping it and like about to snap the fucking Joy-Con
just
off.
fucking gripping the controller.
I'll get you.
Gonna win. Gonna cross that finish line. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but hey ho. But I know you haven't got any of the Let's Go games, the Pokemon games, but I will say, fucking brilliant. Like, I had such a good time. Like, if you look at my thing, it's like such a good time. It was like more than 30 hours played. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. I was like,
mate, that's what it's all about. Like, as long as you enjoy it. I'm glad though, because it would have been a bit naff if, as well as Sunshine, like the main game you were kind of looking forward to wasn't as good, and you were just like, oh, that's a waste of £6.50. Do you know what I mean?
That's a waste of £6.49. Like, I would have been so disappointed. But no, it played like Let's Go Pikachu played so well. It looked really good. It like had all the elements, because basically it's a remake of Pokemon Yellow. So it's like an old school remake, but I really enjoyed it. What I think they should have done a little bit more, and this will only apply if like you've played it, you know what I'm talking about, is Pokemon Yellow is the one where they try to attach it to the anime a little bit more. So your enemy weren't just Team Rocket, they were Jesse and James, and like from the anime and stuff from the cartoon, and like they had their little talking Meowth, but he didn't, you know what I mean? It was like similar, like, you know, similar things. But I would have thought, like, if you're going to remake the game, to basically put on the big screen, like, you could have voiced the characters, maybe like made it a little bit more of a show, do you know what I mean, rather than just literally giving it better graphics. Like, that's what they've done, which is fine. It's still a fantastic game, but I feel like they could have maybe pushed that a little bit more and like given them proper voices, or like maybe made it tied to the
for like pretty much all the Pokemon games that have come out recently. It's been like, why are they just not doing any voice acting?
I don't understand. I understand in like the 90s and 2000s on the Game Boy 100%, but not now. Like, I haven't played, I mean, I've played Pokemon Sword. I went to the Pokemon store, the Pokemon Centre, when they opened it in central London. Me and a friend went, and upstairs you got to play it, and I never had a Switch at this point, and I went upstairs and played it for like 10 minutes, and it was a really fun game, but I was like, there's still no voice acting, and I don't know why that really annoys me, but it just does. Like, yeah, I know it's a typical RPG and they don't often have voice acting, but loads of them do now, and it just feels weird that Pokemon still doesn't. I mean, even like the Pokemon cries when they like make a noise, it's still like a digital sound, and like if you've got like the anime characters, surely it's just a matter of fact of clipping that little bit of audio and shoving it in the game. Like, I don't quite get it.
Yeah, it's a weird design choice. Maybe one day they'll just like shock everyone and there'll be like a character like, and everyone will be like, oh my god, like, it's
oh my god.
But then I guess it's one of those things, like, it's a childhood game and it wants to leave that kind of thing up to your interpretation. That was one of the main things that I enjoyed about the Final Fantasy games, was when I would read them and stuff, like, their voices and accents and how they came across and personalities was all like part of the story in my head, you know. So maybe that's the kind of feel they're still like going for, or they just can't be asked and want to save some money. So
just fucking lazy. Anyway, moving on. No, I did think it was a really cool game. One thing before we like move on from it that I thought was really, really cool is, do you remember, I mean, you've obviously played the Pokemon Game Boy games back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when you would get to the Safari Zone and it would be where you couldn't take any like normal Pokeballs with you? You had to take like the special Safari Pokeballs, the rock and the meat, and you'd go in and you'd have like 100 steps or whatever, and then would have to kick out. They've redone that and there's no Safari Zone, but instead it's the Go Park. So then what you do is you have Pokemon Go on your phone and you catch Pokemon in your area, and then you go back and you can send them to your Switch, and then your character walks around the park with your sent Pokemon and can catch them and bring them into the game.
You can buy these little like Pokeballs as well.
Yeah, that you carry around with you.
Yeah, and as you walk, it levels them up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite cool.
I thought that was really, really cool. I mean, you can only do Pokemon from the first league. I can't catch from the first generation. I can't go and catch something from the current generation and port it in. But I still thought that was quite a cool feature. But I did miss the Safari like park a little bit. I thought like that was quite a fun and exciting bit because you never knew what you're going to find there. But it was still, I thought, a really cool idea to like merge the two together and like give you a reason to get Pokemon Go if you hadn't already.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Expanding gameplay.
It definitely adds like more depth to it. I really struggle to enjoy. This could be really bad now, but I struggle to enjoy Pokemon like I used to. Like,
why? Tell us.
I don't know.
Tell
what
the
it
audience.
Is. I don't know. Like, it just doesn't give me that same kind of feeling anymore. It's a bit similar to the Final Fantasy games. Like, as beautiful as they are and as enjoyable and things as they are, like, I just don't get that spark, and I don't get it with Pokemon anymore. And maybe I'm just getting older, and like, I mean, we're the same age, but like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It doesn't quite fulfill like. Maybe it's the 3D setting. I don't know. I just always associate Pokemon with like gaming wise
little 2D
anyway.
sprites.
Little sprites, just simple, fun, cozy. Here I go again. Simple, fun, cozy shit. Like, I don't know.
That's just all you want. Cozy shit.
I know. I'm a weird person. I'm so fussy sometimes when it comes to games.
But I feel like your gaming style has changed over the years quite drastically. So that's probably no longer. But then again, like, you do enjoy RPGs. We've had this conversation, like Mass Effect and Dragon Age and Final Fantasy. Like, you do enjoy them. So it's not the style of game you just enjoy. It's just maybe Pokemon in general that you fell out of love with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably more sense.
Bitch. Like, it's all you.
Maybe it's just Pokemon and shit. But maybe, I mean, there is on the Switch store, because even though like I bought the Switch for Let's Go Pikachu, there is a Let's Go Pikachu demo that I downloaded first just to make sure that like I actually liked it. Have you partaken of such a demo?
No, but I
Would you
did
consider
get
it?
Shield, and I weren't a huge fan. Well, no, it's not that I weren't a huge fan. I played it, to be fair. I played it for like 2 days straight, which isn't a lot, but
yeah,
I did play it quite a lot during that time, and I just it was just a bit too easy, and I think I'm used to a challenge now. And obviously with like my job, like I test games, so like I don't know, maybe I'm kind of was a bit like, oh, this is just a bit. But then it's not really about difficulty. It's about collecting stuff and exploring. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not really about it anymore. But it does look.
I would kind of get you.
And I would say the games now are definitely more where they should be. I think they've took it back to make it more like appeal more to the fans. I just think I've kind of outgrown
them. See, that's interesting. I think whenever I've played Pokemon, like I've gone back to play the old Pokemon games so many times, like on emulators and stuff, and I always get like a decent way through and then give up and then end up starting again like a year later. And I feel like Pokemon can sometimes become too easy because like as long as you've got your lead strong Pokemon, like it's quite easy to go through regardless of type and weaknesses. If you've got like a level 60 something and you're fighting a level 40 something, it doesn't matter if I'm weak to you, I'm gonna blow you out the water no problem.
I was trying to like keep them all leveled up to like the same amount, and it felt like there was no benefit to me bothering with the others because even though I tried, it was more of a hassle to keep them all the same level when I could have just stuck with one and it wouldn't have really affected me that much. And then I just got confused about like I can't remember what they're called, but they're like these massive Pokemon, like massive versions and things, and I was just like
mega evolutions. I don't get that either.
But going a little bit off topic, but I think in the same kind of like ballpark, talking about games that we don't know whether we've grown out of or are changing, the Resi titles.
Yeah.
I feel like they are now completely different.
Okay. This is going to be a long conversation.
This is going to be a long conversation. I just felt like we should start talking about Resi because I'm just thinking about it. And I'm thinking about that trailer and I just want to get down and dirty with the Resi trailer.
You want to get down and dirty? Okay, Pokemon will put you to bed. We'll come back to you later. But so, let's start at the beginning. So, day before yesterday, 3 days ago, the Resident Evil showcase. I mean, obviously this with film is in advance. So the Resident Evil showcase was announced and played. And what they did is they announced, if you didn't catch it, they revealed a new game trailer for Resident Evil 8. They revealed a bit of gameplay. They revealed the release date and pre-orders were going live instantly. And they also revealed something called RE-verse. Now, I think we should start. I don't know whether to start with Verse or start with RE8. Do you think start with RE8, start at the beginning, and then...
Yeah.
Or do you want to just talk about Verse very quickly? RE8.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We'll go with RE8 and we'll talk... Yeah, we'll do that way.
We'll go with RE8. Okay, so, RE8. The trailer, when the very first trailer dropped way back when, I didn't really know how to feel about it. And I think I even said in a previous episode of our podcast, I was like, do you know what? I'm really not excited for Resident Evil 8 and I really couldn't give less of a shit.
Yeah.
Because for me, Resident Evil 7 went in a completely different direction. And I don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Resi 7. I actually had a lot of fun playing it, but it wasn't Resident Evil. It was just a new survival horror game. And I think that was the disconnection for me. It didn't feel like Resident Evil. I know they were trying to reinvent it, but they reinvented it to such an element where they cut off all of their previous story. And then just revealing Chris at the end was like, oh, he's the only Link. Cool. Like, it wasn't really, So then when they released the trailer for RE8 and it looked like the fact of having werewolves, witches, and vampires, I was like, fuck this. I'm all for a game with werewolves, witches, and vampires, but don't call it Resident Evil. Like, what are we doing? Don't know how you felt at the time when they very first dropped the trailer.
Yeah, okay, so this is the thing.
As a new Resi fan.
Exactly. I'm a new Resi fan, so I don't have the same hang-ups, shall we say, as someone who's played every single game in the series since day. I only discovered it. I say I discovered it. I knew what it was, but I only started playing it in 2020 and last year.
Dead and gone.
Really, really enjoyed enjoyed number 1, even though it was the remake. But it was still really, really good. Absolutely adored the remake of number 2. And then number 3 was a bit like, and then started number 4 and I started to think, oh, this ain't right. So, yeah, so I generally really stand by, like, the original games, like the first 3. For me, they were the ones that kind of confused me the most because I was like, oh, this was not what I was expecting it to be, like this kind of strategy. And I love the science of, like, corruption and, like, weird science experiments. Like, I just love all that. Yeah. And then obviously 7 came out and it was like, okay, this is like really different now. And then when I saw the trailer for 8, it just made me think of 4 and 7 kind of had a child, but we didn't really know too much about the witches that were shown in the trailer. And we didn't really know, like, at that point, we didn't know there was all that kind of thing to it. But there were the big werewolves and that really put me off because I was like, oh, it's so kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of cheesy and like I'm not feeling it. But then when I watched the showcase and I saw the witches and stuff, I thought, okay, I don't want to call this Resi because to me it's not Resident Evil, but it's good. But I'm not going to associate it with that series, I think that series changed. It's like you had the first 3 games and then we kind of went a bit action based and then they've kind of got back to their roots with the whole kind of like survival, I guess. But it's more survival actually now, isn't it? I don't know. It's really confusing. I feel like, I don't know if it's me just being like a new fan, but I do feel quite confused by the series. Like each time it comes out, you don't know what you're going to get. Like,
yeah, I feel like there's a good element to that of like, you don't know what you're going to get and there's an element of surprise. But at the same time, it kind of confused me a bit too. I mean, basically when I believe it was Resident Evil 3 or 4. I can't quite remember. I think it might have been 4. When they were in production of 4, they made the game more interesting, if you like. And eventually it strayed so far away from the original series, they broke it into its own game, and that's how Devil May Cry was born.
Right.
So Devil May Cry is a failed Resi clone, basically. And this, to me, feels like they're trying to do that again. They're trying to make it so unique and so different again that it's almost gone in the direction of Devil May Cry again. Do you know what I mean? Like demons and werewolves and witches and vampires and blah, 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 blah. So that when I was a bit like, I don't think so. After watching the showcase, I will say, watching the trailer, I was quite excited. I was like, oh shit, this does not look like how the very first trailer painted it. And I think they made such a mistake with that first trailer because it made it seem more magical and more like a grim fairy tale. Do you know what I mean?
But it's got more of like a personality to it now, and that kind of uneasy feeling which Resi should have. It should always make you feel quite uneasy. And I feel like that trailer and obviously the vampire ladies, which we'll get into.
Yeah, we'll get into.
Really kind of brought it in. And I don't know what that is. I think maybe it's quite exciting actually. Like I'm really looking forward to that kind of supernatural style because I can't think of another game like that really. Like a first.
That's the thing. Like Resi's always been crazy, but it's always been based in realism. So like it's always like a science experiment gone wrong or a virus that does this. It's always based in real life. Like it's never been one to be like magic. Like even when you've seen like Wesker with his superhuman powers, it made sense. He was like genetically altered. Like it was all in quotations real, if you know what I mean. Like it could happen. It was never like someone, cast a spell on him and suddenly he had powers. So like it was always based in realism. So they just made it seem like it really wasn't. But when I like watched the showcase, I was like, do you know what? This looks a bit more interesting. They've taken this virus into a whole new kind of like level. And it looks more cool. The tall lady, as everyone was calling her at first, but we now know her as Lady Dimitrescu.
Yeah.
Dimitrescu. I'm attempting to say that correctly.
Dimitrescu, I think. Dimitrescu.
Yeah, Dimitrescu. It looked really cool. I believe she's going to be your pursuer, almost like Nemesis was in RE3, which is a really cool kind of
down.
idea.
I'm actually so down for that. Like normally I would hate games where I'd get followed because I'd be like, I cannot stand that constant fear. But after playing Resi 2 remake, I was like, do you know what? Like I fucking love this. Like the thrill and like just hearing the footsteps and that, and I was just like, whoa. So I do hope it's that. I hope so too.
It keeps you on the edge of your seat. If you ever get a chance to really properly play as well Resident Evil 3, the original one, that's done so cleverly because Nemesis is scripted but doesn't feel like it. So when you're actually being hunted, it does bring an extra element to the game, I will say. But so the showcase I think really impressed me. I was like, oh shit, I'm down for this. Like the way they made the storyline, the characters, it all looked really cool. But then there was a really secret surprise. Did you clock the voice acting at all?
Okay, so I watched it at 7 a.m.
I watched it live.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't quite awake, so I may not have been perceptive enough to things like that. So what happened? Wait, remind. So tell me what. Do
you want to know what? Well, basically, I even though we've had our piece to say about Resident Evil 3 remake, have played it an awful lot. So listening to the trailer in RE8, there is someone that says the line something along the lines. That place, not that place, it's just full of death and destruction or something along those lines. I then thought, I know that voice, but I can't quite put my finger on it. So I forgot about it and I was watching the rest of the showcase. And then I hopped over to the Sphere Hunter stream. She was watching it live. I was watching her and then someone in the comments said, that really sounds like Nicole. And I was like, oh shit. And then Susie replayed it again and again and again. And basically, the conclusion is that was Nicole Thompson, who is the voice actress of Jill Valentine.
I hope so. Because...
Which gets me so excited that they could put Jill in this game.
I feel like it's time.
It's time.
I know Jill was in 3, but that was not the best. Like she looked hot and she was brilliant and she was like a bad bitch, but like that is not like we need more. Like she weren't.
And that was a remake of an old game.
Yeah,
she's not like been brought out in a new game like as a new older character. And like the rumor is that this game is basically going to be an origin story of Umbrella, so we will find out how it all came to be properly. And then if that's true, it would make sense that Chris and Jill are part of that storyline because they were there at the beginning, pretty much, weren't they?
I'm so excited to play this, you know. Like, I'm actually so excited.
Hyped.
Like,
could we see a return of Wesker? Like, I don't know. There's so many like exciting things going through my head.
So many. But I mean, lady. Right, let's talk about the lady. Let's talk about this big, powerful.
Let's talk about tall lady.
Big bosomed.
Overly sexualized on Twitter
Very
character.
Overly sexualized on Twitter. When I first watched it, I was unsure of like why I felt something. There was something going on, and I.
Oh, you felt a tingle for her.
No, I didn't get a tingle for her. What I'm trying to say is, I just didn't know what was going on. I was like, I feel weird looking at her. Like, she's really big, and she's really like, I don't know, intimidating,
unsettling,
yeah. And there's something quite fascinating about her, and I'm not sure what it is. And then obviously you go to Twitter and you go online, and everyone's like, "Lady vampire, sit on my face," like all this stuff.
They're like anime porn basically being tweeted on Twitter.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, like within like 5 minutes, it was.
People are ready for Lady Dimitrescu. I think it's Dimitrescu. But even her, she was really good. I think it's I'm so glad we got to see her in the demo as well. Not demo, visual showcase.
Yes, visual showcase. Get it right, please. And we got to hear her talk properly. I think, do you know what's really unsettling about her? Is that she's not a giant. She's just unnervingly tall. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's not like 12 foot. She's like a good 8 foot. So it's like realistic, but still weird. Do you know what I mean? It's just slightly.
Weird. Yeah, and she's just got this.
And she's grey.
Yeah, she's very pale. And she's got.
But she doesn't look like. Yeah, the hat. But she doesn't look like. You know, like how Nemesis and like I was about to say Mr. T then and Mr. X have been like.
Do that all the time.
I don't know. Have been like constructed, and they're grey, but they're like cut and sliced and stuff. Like, even though you can't see under her giant gown, she looks like a normal person. And she's putting on her lipstick. She seems relatively weirdly normal, but there's something not quite right. And I think that's what's frightening, is that she's actually very normal looking, apart from the fact that she's very tall and grey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's normal. She's quite like, what's the word? Like social. Whereas her
like a socialite,
are a little bit crazy, and she's a little bit held back. But then her hand turns into this massive, like, knife thing. And I'm thinking, she's going to transform into something horrific. Like, there's going to be a part where, I can just imagine it now, there's going to be a part where, like, she's all kind of, like, a bit nice with Ethan and, you know, and then suddenly she's going to do some weird shit and, like, just transform or something.
100%.
Because we're so used to these characters just being hideous, aren't we? And, like, fucked up from virus or parasites. And then you've got her who's, like, quite powerful, I'm assuming. They've made her out to be the main kind of, you know, person, didn't they, really?
And it's that voice as well, that where she's like, Ethan Winters. Like, it was just all very, like, upper class and frightening.
It's very it's very fairy tale-esque, but, like, with a twist, isn't it? Which I think that's what sold me on it. And it's really weird, because, like you said, when the first trailer came out, I didn't like the fairy tale. I didn't like the fact that they were telling this little child story with this little silhouette cartoon thing. Like, it looked great, don't get me wrong, but I just weren't feeling it. I was like, this ain't Resi, like, what are you doing? But I think now I'm starting to get over the fact that Resi will, for the most part, not be the kind of games that they were, because they're moving with the times. The more I'm starting to appreciate what they're doing, because I did really appreciate 7. Like, I thought it looked great. I know I haven't played it myself, but obviously I watched you play the entire thing, and to me, that's just
you sat next to me while I played it.
Yeah, and I just loved it. I love that they brought this realness to it, but made that like you said before, like, it's fucked up, but they make it real, and I think they're doing it again with this. It's like it's so unreal, but yet they're doing it. They're making it real. And the shopkeeper guy, he's fascinating. He's just this big, like, shopkeeper. Really interesting.
It's very grim, like the Tales of Grimm, like the proper, like, fairy tale style, like where it's really crazy and wacky, but somehow still slightly believable.
Yeah.
Like, it's like based in reality. And I think like having the merchant kind of mechanic character, whatever you want to call it, come back is interesting, because I know he was first debuted in part 4. And then in part 5, they traded the merchant in for just like a shop system in the menu, which, you know, fine. I think the merchant could be quite interesting, actually. I feel like it could bring like bring back an old element that people enjoyed, like, into the franchise. Like, I'm really excited.
It adds another level of how to play, because it's quite,
you're obviously gonna have to manage a currency as well, and like stuff.
I mean, they did a similar thing, I guess, in 7, where you could unlock
the antique
stuff.
coins.
Yeah, but I guess it depends, like, what is he selling? Like, what is he going to sell to you that you're going to need in that situation? You know, if it's not massively... I mean, I know you get guns and stuff, but they've also made a very strong point about blocking. They're like, blocking's this, blocking's that. And I think that's a bit of a weird mechanic to sell as, like, your main selling point in a game. Like, you can block. Like, okay.
Yes, because it's not like... Yeah, but like also it's also the kind of game where you don't need to block. Like it's survival horror with zombies. It's all about strategy. So that it's come so far now where it has become to the point where you're not going to be engaging an enemy. You're going to be fighting an enemy, and I feel that's like a real difference. It doesn't sound different, but it is, because the enemy can never usually fight back. Like, do you know what I mean? It's usually a bite, and that's like, oh shit. But now it's like I have to block these attacks. So it's bringing another element of action into it, but it didn't seem to detract too much from like the main style of game. But it would be interesting. No, but I'm interested to see what like the merchant's storyline is. Like, why is he selling you things? Why is he not helping them? Is he impartial? Is he like... I think like they could do some really cool stuff with the merchant if they wanted to. I'm
also really fascinated just by the environment, because it's set in very cold, snowy, distant land, isn't it? Like, it's...
I think it's meant to be set in Romania, they're saying, because the last name is very Romanian, someone was saying on a stream.
I mean, it does kind of remind me of that. I mean, like, when you look at like films like Van Helsing and stuff, like, they're always set in like... It's not Pennsylvania, where is it? It's
Transylvania.
Yeah, it's like that kind of thing. So
Nosferatu, kind of like
cold, big kind of ancient things. But I don't know if we were even in this castle as well. Like, when you play the demo, like, let's talk about that demo as well. Wait, let's just start from the start. So you start basically in a prison cell, but someone has left a very helpful note behind a rock, or in a little crevice, which you find, and then you leave.
That tells you exactly how to get out.
Tells you that there is something useful in a bucket of blood. So you get like your key, and then you pull out these craft cutters. Also, if no one's played this, like, this is like going to sound like a walkthrough, because it's a very short demo.
But there's no other way to explain it, because it's incredibly short. Like, we literally have to give you a blow by blow.
I think, because
that did upset me.
7's demo was something that I felt like you could play multiple times and maybe have a different outcome, maybe see something a little bit different, maybe...
Well, it was literally called the beginning hour. It was like an hour-long situation.
Yeah, but there was multiple endings to it, wasn't there? Because one, you either went to the door and you tried to get out, and it was like, no, come back, like they drag you back in and like welcome home or something. I can't remember, they do something like that. Yeah. Whereas with this one, every time I've seen it played, it's been played the same way. So I think it's set in stone, really. But then again, it's a visual showcase, so that's their argument, isn't it? Like, it's not meant to be.
It's not actually a game.
But like I said, I was saying to you earlier, like, there's loads of doors that are like low res, and you think like, why can't I go through these doors? Why are they all different colours? Yet I can't use them. And then the necklace, which you were like, is it the dummy finger again from 7? Like, did anyone use the necklace? Because I can't figure out where it goes.
No, me neither. And I googled it afterwards, because after we had this conversation, I was going to, maybe it's going to be like a dummy finger situation. And if those of you who aren't aware, which you should be, but like in RE7 there was a dummy finger that you could find that clearly belonged on some kind of mannequin or whatever, and it had no purpose. And then as the weeks went on, they patched it and updated the demo, and eventually you found another use for it. So then you found a hand that it could go onto, and then later on you found you could point the hand at different things. And then, like, basically before the game was released, it opened up a whole new scenario.
That again then?
I think there possibly could be,
because
because
look suspicious. I'm set on the doors. Like,
100%. There were so many doors you couldn't open, and but that was also quite interesting. The description of the necklace was to ward away evil. Again, very superstitious, very magical. Like, it made me think of like, oh, where's this going? Like, am I going to have to wear this to protect myself? But that sounds really silly. Like, it doesn't sound Resident Evil style, but hey ho. But whatever. So you wake up in this dungeon, you find this note which details literally exactly how to get out. It tells you where to crawl, where to go, where to find the lockpick, like how to get through the door. Like, it's literally a blow by blow. It's been left for you either by someone who wants you to get out, or someone who wants you to think you can get out. So either it's like a trick or whatever. So you literally follow this guide, don't you? You crawl down, you crawl underneath the cell, you go through the door, you go find the lockpick, you find the bolt cutters first, and you cut all the chains, you find the lockpick, you get into the next room. And the next room is like a chandelier hanging circular room with basically this beautiful looking like 3D installation art of like all these like war and death and whatever. So very frightening. And then you walk into another room, which is like a dining room that's been set up to eat. There's clearly human remains on the table,
and hanging
your
out
caption
of the barrel.
is,
There's like a hand that hangs out of the barrel.
yes, a woman's hand. If you look close, you can see the nails are painted, so it gets you going that there's a woman in there. And there's, like we said, like blood in the gauntlets and stuff in the wine glasses, and you're always one step behind the daughters or Lady Dimitrescu, whoever. They're always just ahead of you, aren't they? Just closing a door, and you're like, oh, I'm getting away with this. I'm like really like going under the radar here. But then when you eventually find a few more clues and you find your way around this castle, no doors open, bar the like only one that you can go through.
It doesn't feel like a castle though. That's why I'm confused.
It doesn't.
I didn't feel like I felt like I was in a castle, but then why would you have such a big kind of, I say big, it's not that big, but why would you have like a dungeon underneath, you know, like a prisoner's sort of place, and then but it doesn't, it's not very castle-y, because there's an entrance that you're in with like a staircase, and that's quite small. And for a castle,
doesn't go up anymore.
Expect it big, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I feel like there's not enough. I mean, there could be more stairs behind some of these like low res doors that we can't get to, but it doesn't seem like it's a big kind of castle. But you wander around basically, and you go downstairs and you have a look, and you can open all these drawers with nothing inside. Now this makes me think of the Resident Evil 7 thing, where you would watch the videotapes, and if you opened the drawers in the past, they would be open for Ethan in the future, and then you would have like, you could find extra stuff. So I wonder if there's going to be a time warp mechanic like there was in the other one. But then you find this glass with a ring inside with an eye in it. You take the eye gem out, you go upstairs and pop it in this door. It opens up. You go in there, and then you find this information about this castle being built in a vineyard, and that they call this specific brand of wine it's called Virgin's Blood basically, but I can't remember what it was.
It's to do with the maiden though. It's like
it's Maiden something, isn't it? Yeah. So Maiden's Blood, so a Virgin's Blood. So then you start to think, okay, could I be this maiden walking around? Because your character doesn't speak at all. And then you literally walk downstairs, and then she catches you off guard and says, "I'm watching you, you know." That threw me a little bit, because I then stopped and spun my camera around, and she wasn't there, and I couldn't see her. And I was like, where the fuck is this bitch? I was like, where are you? I've got no weapons, but bring it.
I like how you stopped and spun. As soon as I looked at that note and got the key, I fucking ran downstairs. I ran to the door. I was like, get me out of here. But it doesn't even matter, because, you know.
Because you find out it's probably not the Lady Dimitrescu talking to you, because when you get down there, one of her daughters appears. Now this was really weird, because she flew in. She flew across the moon.
It was like
she flew in like a
with
bug.
The bees and the flies or whatever. It was that kind of
yes,
VFX.
like Marguerite. Yeah. But this was like almost. This was very Charmed. It was like these. It was like these. I'm back. These like group of like insects appear, and they morph into a woman who then walks up to you, and is like strangely like really like attractive but
blonde,
semi-insane,
classic,
blonde, hooded, runs towards you, and even you can't outrun her. The very first time you do it, she will bite you, and then she like probably takes a good couple of chunks out of you, and then she backs away, and you get a chance to run. I never let her bite me a second time. I always ran, so I don't know what happens if you stay there. I'm assuming she eats you, and that's game over. But then once you've got this little key, you run and open the courtyard door, and then the tall lady steps through and says, "Oh, blah 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 blah," and then she murders you. So it's clear that we're not playing as Ethan, because this woman, or who this character is, now dead. Because
I'm starting to feel like we've not played the demo enough, and there's different things. Like now I'm thinking, would the necklace affect if she attacks you? Should you stay and be attacked? Should you go back and open different doors? Maybe that woman opened the door. Like
I tried going back and opening doors. Nothing was open. And I had the necklace on me when I was attacked. I generally think it's going to be updated, and we're going to have to use the necklace somewhere else. But then the description of the necklace says, this was a necklace to ward off evil that was taken off of me when I went into the dungeon. So it's almost like this person went into the dungeon wearing the necklace as a protection, as some kind of like spiritual protection. I don't know. But whatever the case, they're now dead because the tall lady says like, "Oh, we finally meet," or "Ah, there you are," or something, and then she turns her hand into fucking Edward Scissorhands and just slices you down.
What the fuck
and
is
that's
that?
the
She's just all she's like, she's like, whoa, okay, yeah, she's gonna transform. Telling you now, she's gonna turn into something
100%.
pretty nasty. I could just see it.
100. It did then throw me then because I thought it was too. That was when I was like, oh, it's finished. And I remember I texted you. I was like, I've downloaded it, and then like I texted you 15 minutes later, like, I finished it. Like,
well, no, you were like, that's interesting. And I was like, don't say anything. I was like, let's not talk about it till like the podcast. And then I decided to play it over lunch because I had like a bit of a longer lunch, thinking that it might take up the whole hour, but it didn't. It was literally like, I think I finished it in 10 minutes. And I messaged you and I was like, oh, this looks great. And then I was like, oh, it's over.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
Which is
finished.
really annoying. But like you said, I think maybe it'll be updated, which I hope so, because that's really clever and they should keep doing stuff like that.
Because it keeps you coming back.
It keeps
like,
coming
what's
back.
What's going to be new this time?
Keeps it relevant until it's released. And makes sense because, yeah, that was just too short. Like,
it was really short.
And I want to
But
know
overall, more. That's the thing. That's what I enjoyed. It left me wanting more. I wanted to know who these characters are. I wanted to know. I mean, it almost reminds me like when you played the RE7 demo, you played as Clancy, the cameraman. So you played as someone who fell victim to the Bakers. And then when you played as Ethan, you watched part of his story. So I'm guessing we're doing a similar thing now where we're playing as the Maiden and then we'll play as Ethan entering the castle, the building, whatever, after the fact. So I think they're going for like a similar thing. It almost seems that it's going to be quite similar to RE7 with just a completely different aesthetic and like what have you. But obviously time will tell.
Time will tell. See, it's these kind of demos that make me think, like, question everything. Because I'm sat thinking, like you said, like, what is this person's relevance? I feel like they're female. I feel curious as to someone was expecting them to be locked up for them to have that letter and things placed out, and you know, like, why? And why was there no one else down there who was...
That was what was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, like, why was there no... There was one person that was cut in half, and one person that had the pliers in their back. Like, they'd intentionally killed someone that just looked like an average woman whose door was open with pliers in her back. And it was kind of like, okay, so someone's placed them there to help you, but like her door's open and... Oh no, or was it locked? I can't remember, but
No, so the door was open, but she was sitting up against the wall, and then when you went back later, she fell down and revealed that she had the bolt cutters in her back.
Really? Because when I saw her, she was just flat out on the floor.
Oh no, when you first walk in there, because I didn't notice her at first, she's sitting
that's
upright.
What it is.
And then when you go to unlock it, you hear a little noise, and when you go back, she's fallen forward. So it was really interestingly done. But when you were going through, you also found more of these notes, and it appeared to be left by some kind of butler, some kind of servant, who was a man that was brought in, and he was saying that he was very shocked that all three masters were actually mistresses. So they were like, all four of them rather, were all women, and it was very weird that they were all owners of this castle. So it is strange because we've never had really any female enemies in Resident Evil whatsoever, like a main enemy. We've had like the odd one here and there, but not like proper...
I mean, the only one we sort of had, I guess, was like, well, from what I played, I wouldn't say it was an enemy, but like Birkin's wife had a bit of a...
Yeah, had an evil... I mean, the female enemies, we have Annette, who's obviously, we don't fight Annette necessarily, but she is doing some dodgy shiz. You have Ada, if you want to class her as an enemy, because she's not really loyal to anybody. But the only female enemy that I know of in Resident Evil is Alexia Ashford, who is in Code Veronica. As she is the only female character who is an actual enemy character. As far as my Resident Evil knowledge goes, like, someone might prove me wrong, but I think that's like as far as it goes. So it's interesting to see that we're having all women.
I mean, it's probably about time, to be fair. Like, if a woman's never, you know, made much of an impact. No, actually, there was the mum in 7 who turns into that big old beast.
Marguerite, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It seems like that she is. Yeah, okay, yeah, completely. So Marguerite, so we've had two, but then this one seems like she is the main enemy, and they're all kind of like female. But then the interesting thing would make sense if there is a witchy element to it. Obviously, a coven of witches is usually all female, so it would make sense if there's some kind of dark ritualistic stuff, because she's then, when she's on the phone talking about Ethan being loose in her castle and her daughters can't cope with him, she's talking to Mother Miranda, so someone higher up than her in her little witchy coven, who's obviously a woman.
And then there's that guy though. Sorry to cut you off, but I was just thinking. Then there's that guy that has the hat with the long hair, and I'm assuming he's going to be like a witch hunter.
Yes, so he apparently is some kind of what's the word? When they have like what are like the zombies called? Bioweapons. He's like a bio hunter, essentially, is what they're saying. So they've almost transformed this game into like Van Helsing, but in like biological warfare.
Yeah.
So it seems to be that he's either after them, after you. We're not quite sure where he stands. All we care about is that Jill could be in this game.
I mean, we don't even know what happened to Ethan, apart from the fact that he got picked up. But between him randomly getting picked up by Chris and being saved, we don't really know what happened to him. Like, did they do something to him to put him in that situation?
It's interesting because the trailer only revealed Chris walking, and then the first trailer revealed Chris walking into his house and shooting Mia, didn't it? Do you remember that? Was like, and he was like, Chris, what are you doing? But then there's a second part of the trailer they released where Chris walks in and just takes the baby. So all we know is that Ethan and Mia were both infected with the I can't even remember what virus it was now. Was it the E-type virus, I think. Ethan and Mia were both infected. So for them to have a child would be quite interesting, because this child would be born infected and would be, it would be part of its initial DNA structure, if you want to get all scientific. So it could be really interesting that they've like have had this child who could have the virus in them and grow up with it and possibly develop special powers because it's Resident Evil. So like it gives you like possible storylines and stuff. But yeah, I forgot where I was going.
That's the thing though, like you get so trapped in these like loopholes and like understanding things before it comes out, which is super exciting. And it is always sort of Resident Evil that makes you question it, like those demos and stuff, like, and trailers, they do make you question stuff, like I just want to know more, and like I want to know the links, and like there's obviously going to be a huge link. Never thought we'd see Mia again, but then when was it set? I mean, this is set afterwards, obviously.
It's meant to be set.
We don't. I don't know.
Well, if it is Mia and Ethan and they have a child, you would assume it's set at least 1 to 2 years later, which I think it possibly is. I thought she got
fucked up.
So at the end of the game, it depends who you chose. If you save Zoe, Mia has to die on the ship and you have to kill her with Evelyn. If you saved, do you remember? If you save Mia, then she ends up surviving with you and you get the good ending, and you both get away. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but basically at the end when you kill Evelyn, you end up saving Mia and she's fine too. So I don't know. I mean, because the whole point is, I mean, there was that thing, like where Ethan has his hand cut off and he can reattach it like no problem.
Yeah.
And it's because he's infected. So that's what you come to learn. So I don't know. It's very interesting. There's so much space for them to have like a really interesting story, especially with Chris involved, and especially with the news that Jill can be involved. Because basically, after I watched the Sphere Hunter stream, she hosted Nicole's stream because she now streams Resident Evil because she's got to get that coin. And when she was playing it, everyone was like, are you an REA? Are you an REA? Like, the whole chat was just spammed with the same thing. And she was looking at the comments. You could tell she was like, hi, everyone. Hi. Like, not acknowledging every single comment. It was like, yeah. And then she went, guys, I'm just going to say that if you're asking me if I'm in a game that's not yet announced, I'm just not going to say anything. Anyway, hi, everyone. And I was like, I cannot confirm or deny, which basically means yes. So see you in RE8, Jill.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm so
excited. What would she do? Like, what? I mean,
I don't know.
Because Chris is like, I thought Chris and Jill were basically opposites. Like, he ended up, or maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just so not like educated enough to where we are at now. But isn't Chris working with Umbrella? He's working with Blue Umbrella. This is where RE7 got really confusing. So basically, after like the Raccoon City incident, the story goes that... Why does this always turn into an episode of you schooling me on like Reddit? I don't know. Because I'm just the one. I don't know. They basically joined the BSAA and they joined this other like
counter BioWare forces together, and they ended up working separately, working together, working separately, working together. And then eventually we come to Blue Umbrella. Now, Blue Umbrella was a company formed to basically get rid of Umbrella, so of their old bio-terrorist actions. They've called themselves Blue Umbrella because reasons. So they're both now part of Blue Umbrella It Goes, and they're out trying to stop all the bioterrorism going on. So they are technically still in contact. They said they have been like friends throughout this entire thing, and they still work together very closely. So it would make sense if it's a Resident Evil Umbrella origin story that we would see Jill, because she was there at the very beginning, as Chris was. And that leads me to believe, could we be seeing other characters come back? Because I know that Wesker's dead and gone, but no one ever stays dead.
I mean, I feel like Ada's going to swing through some way and just be like...
She's going to find some way to be involved.
In my little fucking dress and heels, like, sit down.
She's like, Leon's not here, but I decided to come anyway because I'm Ada.
Yeah.
We shall see. I'm so excited.
I'm really, really excited. Yeah.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, I plan on playing 7 soon to just kind of refresh myself.
You should.
You should, yeah.
You should, yeah. You need that, yeah.
Educate yourself.
Educate yourself, bitch. This podcast has gone on for quite a long while, but we can't go yet because we have to discuss something else. So, as we said, they released RE8 information. However, they also released something that no one asked for, called REverse.
Can I just say and clarify that during the build-up of REverse, whatever, I was...
Yes, I know exactly what you're going to say. Go on, go.
I was, like, really expecting them to be like, Resi 1. Like,
yes, so was I.
Resi 1 in... amazing RE engine, and then it was just like, play your favourite characters. And I was like, oh no, don't.
Everyone was expecting a remastered trilogy, so they were expecting them to remaster the PS1 games.
It really was.
Which they've already done with all their 3 remakes, so I didn't think they would do that, but I possibly thought something could be coming with RE Run, because that one needs the most love. It's been so long. I mean, the original RE was so long ago, and the RE1 remake was also quite long ago now. Like, that needs to be updated to be in number 2 and 3, which would have been perfect to do, and that for me would have, like, sold me for the night. But then they released this bullshit that literally no one asked for, and I was watching... like I said, after I watched the stream and I said out loud to myself in my own flat, no one fucking asked this, what are you doing? I then watched the Sphere Hunter stream, and every single comment was like, who the fuck wants this? No one wants this. Why are they doing this? What the hell? What is this shit? And then Susie was watching it, the Sphere Hunter. She was like, no one wants this. No one's asked for this. Like, it was everyone. Exactly. Why are we doing this end stream? What the hell? So they're basically introducing some kind of Fortnite rival, like battle royale situation where you can be any enemy or character from Resident Evil history. So you had like Leon and Jack Baker and like Claire with Jill fighting in the RE2 police station, and I just did not understand.
I
thought,
thing
why
that annoys
the
me
fuck?
about stuff like this is it takes away from like the personality and like the atmosphere of the games, and like when you've got Mr. X, who's, in my opinion, when I first played it, I was absolutely terrified of him, but then you get to play him, but he's like a bit more of like a kind of like a scaled down version. It kind of just takes something away, and it's like,
yeah, 100%.
It's like, you don't need to do that. Like, these games never needed to be multiplayer. Like, they've never been a multiplayer. Well, actually, no, that lie. They have been a multiplayer experience in the sense that like co-op. But like,
yeah, only to an extent though.
Yeah, and it just seems it just feels like a waste of like resources. And I thought they tried to bring out a multiplayer, and that kind of fell a bit flat. I mean, I might be wrong, but I've never seen it. I've never seen it be of any importance whenever they've brought out like a multiplayer option. So
it's never been any good. Like, they had so the only the beginning interaction of multiplayer, they had RE5, right? And that was where you had a co-op character to play the story with. Then they released like a mercenaries mode, which was part of like the old original REs, but they were never multiplayer. But they remade it and made it multiplayer. Now, I will say mercenaries mode in RE5 was actually a fun time. Like, it was really fun. You like matched with random people online and you played as other characters and you got to like smash time trial things and you got to shoot each other. It was interesting. It was fun. But it was like DLC. It wasn't the main game. I wasn't buying that as a game. It was something, it was a cute little extra. And I was like, this is quite fun to waste like an hour when you're done with the Resident Evil game, but want a bit of extra like spice. But like, no one wants anything like that. And then they released Umbrella Chronicles or whatever it was called. And that was basically COD with a Resident Evil sticker slapped on it. Like, it was just so bad. And now they're doing this. But like, time and time again, it's failed. So why are you still doing it? Like, they did it for Resident Evil 3. Rather than actually make the game better or make DLC, they made this fucking stupid Resistance shit that no one wanted. Like, why do they keep doing the same thing and failing? It's like, what's that saying? Like, the true sign of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. Like, what? No one wants it. Stop making it. Like, I don't understand.
Do you think partly this is because you just hate like multiplayer games and it's your favourite series that's fallen victim to a multiplayer creation?
I want to say yes, but I'm not necessarily COD's biggest fan, but I will pick up COD and I will have a good time playing it because it's an enjoyable game.
First-person shooter, and it's been going for a reason, you know.
Like, that's the thing; it's done well. I pick up Resident Evil COD basically, and I'm like, what the fuck am I playing? It's just a bad, like, I don't understand. Like, it's just really, it's just not fun. It's not fun because no one asked for it. It's not something you've been like hyped up for. Do you know what I mean? Like, Resistance just wasn't good. It was broken in so many ways. Apart from the fact that it wasn't good, it literally did not work. There was a lot of glitches in it, and it just wasn't done well. And every single person was asking for RE3 DLC, but they just kept saying, guess what? A new character coming to Resistance next week. And it was like, no one cares. Stop doing this.
I feel like I'm just almost scared. Like when you're waiting for like a big title from Nintendo and then they're like, new Smash character. And you're like, oh.
Literally. When they were like,
Not
oh
again.
my God, let's talk Sephiroth going into Smash. Let's talk about that soon. But yeah, it was like basically any RE3 DLC became Resistance and it ruined the main game. And my fear is that RE8 is going to be impeded because they're too busy doing this RE-verse shit.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? They're making stuff that no one wants and it's impeding the stuff that people do want. So you're sacrificing...
Look what happened to Resi 3 during... when they were making
that game
2
was
and
fucked.
3 at the same time. It's like 3 was a rushed project. Never really felt finished. And 2 was absolutely amazing. So yeah, maybe they need to just not
RE2 was very faithful with a few misses, but it was very faithful to the original, whereas RE3 was not, and yet there was this Resistance thing that like took up a lot of time clearly, and it was like, well, why did you do that? Because you actually could have spent that time making this game much better, and then people would have lived for it. But I don't know, Capcom when it comes to Resident Evil, just like Team Resident Evil, just never seem to learn their lesson in that way. But they will always survive, hopefully. They've, you know, it's like on RE8, do you know what I mean? There's more than enough games to say that this franchise is not going to die anytime soon.
No, I mean...
They've not finished milking this cow.
The Resi 4 remake is a thing that's, like, floating around. The games in general, like, the fan base for Resident Evil is just so big that it's one of those situations. It's like Final Fantasy. It's like... Yeah, like things like that. Like they'll bring another one out and you'll play it because you care about the series, you know, like, and you might not like it, but you'll still get excited because you've always liked them, you know, and like they've never done anything too wrong. And to be honest, I wouldn't say any of the mainline games, barring 3, which I wouldn't say was bad. I just feel like it never had the same standard as all the other games have had, you know, like, okay, 5 and 6, like I'm not counting them. I'm not even counting 4. I know 4's a big... No. I don't know. Here we go. We'll just go in circle. Everyone's got so many opinions on Resi. It's like...
I know, that's the thing.
That's the thing. But I do feel like 8's going to be really good. I'm really excited for 8. More excited than I thought I'd be after the first trailer. We really needed that showcase, and...
100%. It saved it.
Yeah,
it saved it.
As much as I say, you know, oh God, it's a letdown that the demo was so short, despite that, like, it looked great, and, like, I got really excited that we got to meet the three girls, you know, and be like, oh my God, like, there they are, you know.
And actually dice with one of them, like, you know, go toe to toe for a couple of minutes. It was quite fun.
Yeah.
But the thing is, one thing we also should remember is that Capcom does always have a surprise up their sleeve. So I think it could very well be that this demo will be patched and will be made longer, and there'll be different endings, and you might not, die, or there might be another person that you take control of. Like, never doubt what's going to come out of a Resident Evil demo, I would say, after playing 7. And do you remember, like, the whole thing with the ghosts and catching the ghosts on camera, and like there was 20 ghosts hidden in the game, and like there's always really interesting things going on. So, let's watch this space. Let's just say we'll reserve judgment completely until we've seen what they do with this demo. If nothing happens, then okay, it wasn't very good. But if more's to come, then I'm really it was shit. But if there's more to come, then I'm very intrigued.
Yeah. They did right. They did well. They did well in the showcase. I mean, half of it was BS, but like the trailer and everything was good.
Mm-hmm. And they talked a little bit about Infinite Darkness, didn't they, as well? The Netflix animation that's coming. That looks really cool.
They did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing that, to be honest. I'm really I'm really quite impatient to sit and just like knuckle down with that. I feel like it's been a while since we've had. I'm acting like I've played this. I've been like Resi since day, but like I've only known it not even a year.
Since day.
I do feel like it's been ages since there's been some proper like Resident Evil kind of stuff going on. Like a main game. I know you're not a fan of the multiplayer, but there's a multiplayer thing coming out. There's a series coming out. Like there's a big push on Resi at the moment. I think it's making itself known for the next gen. It's like, we're here, and also. The demo is only available on the PS5, so there's probably going to be some. That. Really, I reckon there's going to be some exclusives with Sony.
100%. Because they've already said there's apparently something else coming, or the demo's coming to everyone else a lot later, but only PS5 has it now. But it's also going to be on PS4, which is really interesting, and Xbox One. Mm-hmm. So they are going. They're doing current gen, well, I suppose current gen if you like, and next gen. So we're doing PS5 and PS4.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting. But Sony is definitely going to get some exclusives.
Oh yeah,
100%.
To be honest, they were really building up like the consoles that I was like, hang on, are you going to say it's coming to the Switch? Like I was getting kind of like confused. I was like, and you'll be really excited to know that this is going to be on. And I was like, Switch? But then they didn't not Switch. I was like, okay, yeah, that would have been.
Your brain thinks everything's going to be on the Switch. Yeah. You're like, Switch?
The Switch?
The Switch? Ooh. One thing they didn't talk about is the RE film that's being made. Which I was quite shocked at. I thought they would mention that a bit more, but
a bad sign.
Literally, do you know what I mean? That makes me worried. But for those of you who don't know, they are remaking the original Resident Evil film, but they're actually basing it on the game and not on fucking superhuman Alice.
Well, and
Mila Jovovich is nowhere to be seen.
Fucking swept under the rug at one point.
Paul Anderson is nowhere to be seen, and I couldn't be happier. And it does look really good. I mean, who knows? It could be disappointing, but it looks really good. The actors all match up well, and I can't wait.
I actually do. To be honest.
Yeah, very excited.
But other than like Resi, like I don't think there's. I think that's the biggest thing we've had this year. We're like 3 weeks in, and it's the biggest thing we've had this year.
It's like the 21st.
It's the 21st.
That's it. Peaked. Stray can go fuck itself. Like Resident RE8 is the biggest thing.
Stray. There's so much I'm excited for this year, but yeah, Resi's put itself on the map for me. I weren't too sure about it, but yeah, feeling it now.
And I can't wait for it. So May the something, I can't remember. I want to say 7th, but I feel like I've made that up.
7th of May. No, I think it's
7th of May. Can't wait, and I can't wait to see what they do with this demo.
Exciting.
Right. Exciting. On that note, I think we should probably call it a day, but we hope you all had a great Christmas and New Year.
I mean, we should have said that at the start, really, but
I mean, we should have done.
If you hold on this long, you deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve that. I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. No, we're super excited for everything that's going to come in 2021, and I can't wait to do lots of chatting about all the crap that's coming our way. And yeah, just Happy New Year, and let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. See you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Bye.